one, they actually just don't have a process. You have like Kushal doing things one way, Scott doing things another way, Richard doing things a different way. So it's just all a mess. And everybody's pitch and process is all siloed. So it's impossible to share information back and forth and really kind of land on what works best. And that makes it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to scale. So that's the biggest problem that people run into. Other problems, a lot of early stage companies have been kind of founder-led sales, and founders love their product. They love to talk about their product. They want to, go through every single feature that there is. People don't need to hear about every single feature that there is. Okay. When I go buy a car, nobody tells me about every little thing that the car can do and every little part. I go buy this computer. Nobody sits there and shows me every function that the computer can do. It's too long. It's too tedious. Nobody wants to sit through that. So you just get overwhelmed with information. So you elongate the sales cycle and complicate the sales process. So that's another one. Then I think, people often make a mistake of bringing in the wrong type of sales leader at the wrong stage. You can't bring in somebody to an early stage company to run sales who wants to sit behind a desk and be, the vice president of spreadsheets and just look at data all day long. That's not how it works. Like in the beginning, you've got to have somebody who's willing to, get on the phone and send messages and build pipeline and make sure that our pitch actually works and that we can coach and teach people along the way. Like you got to get somebody who's willing to roll their sleeves up a little bit, right? And that's a different type of sales leader than somebody who's spent, the last 15 years at Oracle or someplace like that. So that's a common mistake. I think people get enamored with, somebody's experience at one of the big technology companies out there, and they over optimize on that, and they don't pay enough attention to somebody's willingness to kind of dig into the details a little bit. Fourth mistake, everybody underestimates how often and constantly you need to be recruiting. The biggest way to miss your number when you're trying to scale a sales organization is you don't have enough people in the seat. And I don't mean just people, I should amend that to say people who have ramped and can be productive. So companies make mistakes and they don't factor in rep churn, for example. So you'd say, well, I need 10 people at full ramp in order to hit our number. So they'll hire 10 people. But those 10 people, the odds of all 10 of them being successful and fully ramping and succeeding are quite slim, right? In a normal sales org, you probably churn 2 or 3 of those people over the course of 6 months. So you've got to overhire. So the people don't do a good job of baking the right hiring numbers into their model as they grow and try to scale. Fifth common mistake, just not enough time coaching their salespeople. Not enough time trying to make sure just not enough time making sure people get the help they need. I think too often salespeople get hired and it's assumed like, oh, Kushal was really good, we just leave her alone, let her do her thing. But like there needs to be role play. There needs to be listening to calls and feedback. There needs to be, conversations about tonality and maybe speed of delivery and how you ran this particular demo.